嗨，大家好，我是 BOB。我从02年开始就在多伦多从事电工材料的采购和销售，期间结识了许多优秀的电工朋友，和他们一起合作完成了许多电工项目。在这个频道里面，我主要是和大家一起分享这么多年来电工材料的采购、安装和使用心得，以及一些电工朋友在安装这些材料时候的喜怒哀乐。Right, this is the microphone. Okay. Yeah, because after you do that, I will do it again in Chinese. Okay. So I will train all my contractors. Okay.
Do you have a small screwdriver out here? Do you have a small screwdriver? This one doesn't fit into. I can just wrap the wires on here. Look, it's not this big. And power up with the power meter. Okay, so we'll do this part first with the that, and then we'll go to the laptop. Okay. So I brought the manual here, and really all you have to look at really is these first 2 pages there. Okay. It just goes through each item in the menu and tells you what each one actually does. Okay. Okay, so. Okay, so let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Yes, we're ready, yeah.
Okay, so in order to enter the programming mode, if you look on the bottom of here, there's a cover that normally covers that. What you have to do is you take the cover off, and there's a little button down here. You can see it right there. Okay, all you do is you push that, and it'll come up, and that's where you enter your password. So you enter the password by pushing the scroll button to change the digit. Okay, so in this case, it's set for 0. So I'm just going to have to press it again at the bottom. Again. And again, and again. Okay, so that just means it was 0 was the password. If it was 1, then I would put the number 1 in. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. The next item you get to is called protocol. Okay, this meter supports 2 protocol. One is BACnet. So if you're doing any building automation systems, they'll quite often require BACnet, but most of the time it's using Modbus. Okay, so if I wanted to change that, I press the button here, and I change that to go back here. Okay. Okay, we'll go back and do that. So right now it's set for Modbus. Protocol was 0. So again, you press the button. You see when it starts flashing? Okay, so if I want to change the address to something other than 1, I would select the digit with this button, and then I press the scroll. Okay, so I'm going to keep it at 1 because it happens to be 1, but I could change it to anything I want. I press it again. Okay, so if the number is flashing, that means you're in programming mode. Okay, it stopped flashing, so I can press the scroll button. Okay, the next one is the baud rate. I think you all know what the baud rate is. Okay.
What's the most?
That's the communication speed, yeah. So it's RS-45, so the baud rate is usually 9600, 19.2, 38.4, or 115. Okay. Common one is 9600 baud. Okay. Yep. So if you want to change that, again, you just press this button here.
But the default is 900.
It's 9600, yes. Okay. And you can see the various ones. So the next one is 19.2, 38.4, and 115,200. Okay, so that's the speed. 9600 is a common one. No one uses 1200 baud anymore, or 4800, but okay. And then if you want to stop that, press scroll. It's not flashing, so that means you're not in programming mode anymore, and you can go to the next item. This is your parity bit. Almost all softwares you're going to use no parity, 1 stop bit. Okay, this is Modbus RTU, so it uses 8 bits, so that's common. There's also something called Modbus, which is ASCII protocol. In that case, then you use different start bits and that. But in this case, it's strictly no parity, 1 stop bit. If you want to change that, press the button. Okay, so even parity, odd parity, none. Okay, so just the various things.
So the blue key is just to select a different number, the parameter.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
white key is just a different function.
That's to go into the program.
Enter
Yeah, so if I go out of that, if I press the bottom key there, okay, so it's not flashing anymore,
Yeah.
so that means it's not programming.
Okay.
And then you can use scroll to go to the next item.
Okay.
Pulse, okay, that's your pulse output. And you have a choice, you can select either, can't check anything on that. Okay, that's standard, you can't change anything on the pulse output, it's always there. But you can program the pulse output to represent either the kilowatt hours or the kVAR hours.
Okay.
Okay. Usually it's always going to be kilowatt hours. Okay, and that just means every kilowatt hour it gives you a pulse.
Pulse,
Because sometimes you want to go into a energy management system. Okay, this there's two ways you can have the CTs on the primary side and on the secondary side. So almost every time you're going to use this, it's going to be on the secondary or on the primary side.
Okay.
Okay, but sometimes what people do is you have a 600 volt to 120 transformer, but then you have the transformers on the 600 volt side. So that's the only time you'd pick that. Almost always, it's always going to be 0. Okay.
Primary side.
Yeah, it's always going to be on the primary side. PD, that's just if you want to change the password. Okay, we've already went through the password on this, so if we don't want a new password. Okay. Again, actually, this is the one for the primary side. It's CAL, C-A-L. So that's if you have it on the primary side or the secondary side. Okay, and again, almost always it's going to be 1, which is the primary side.
Okay.
Okay. The only time you do it differently is if you have this transformer and you want to keep the CTs on the primary side, and then you change that. Okay. Okay, this is the system type. Okay, one is set for one phase, so I'll show you the options there. Okay, so you can press that. Okay, 1 line to neutral, 3 line to neutral. Now if you have 3 phase without the neutral, you can still pick line to neutral. Okay, 2 line to line, that's what you'd see in like a residential type thing where you've got 2 hot wires, which is 240 volt,
Okay.
and then the center tap for 120.
Okay.
Okay. And this is what we have it now. So let's keep it at that. So again,
Okay. This is a single phase.
this is single phase, yeah.
1 line to line, 1
Yeah,
because this is 1 line. This is neutral.
that's right, yeah.
What? This is for. Okay.
I'm just jumping over,
Yeah, okay.
just so we have something to look
Yes.
at on the screen. Okay, so we just put that back. We'll go to the next item. CT. Now this particular meter is the one that has the Measurement Canada 200 amp CT,
Okay.
and the output on that is 80 milliamp.
Yeah.
Okay. Now if this weren't that type, if it was the one with 0 to 5 amp input, these are the various things. Okay, you see how you only get the choices between 100,
So
200, and 80?
this EM50 is
Yeah, this is the one with
this
the...
is we already got delivered.
This is the one you're getting at, yeah. The
Yeah.
80 milliamp one. It's not the one...
But
that-
we also got the 5 amp.
yeah,
No, we
yeah.
got the 5 amps.
Yeah, you got 5 amp. You
Well,
haven't gotten
not-
this
not-
one
not
yet.
80
No, you haven't got this
no,
one.
no.
So this
no,
one...
no, we also got 80 milliamp.
10个
CTs, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, you
We
got
got
the
No, we
CTs.
got the
20,
CT,
20
Yeah,
pieces.
with no meters.
but you didn't get the meters, yeah.
Yeah, we
okay.
didn't get
Yeah,
the meters,
exactly.
yeah.
So this one is the one with the 80 milliamp CT. So the only choices you have is 80, 100, or 200.
Okay.
Our meters are all 80 milliamp, so you put 80 in there. Now if this were a one with a 0 to 5 amp input, then you'd select 5A from that.
Or for that meter, right? The 5 amps meter.
For the 5 amp meter,
So
yeah.
5,000,
5, yeah.
not 5.
Yeah, just 5.
But this is 80.
Oh, this is 80 milliamp on this
Okay.
particular one. On the other ones, it's you set it for 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also set it for 1 amp as well, but we in North America we always use 5 amp CTs. Okay, so I'm just gonna get out of that and go to the next one. And this is the secondary or the primary of the transformer. So the output is 80 milliamp.
Yeah.
This one happens to be a 200 amp
200,
one.
yeah.
Now this were the 5 amp type and it was a 600 to 5. You'd
yeah.
put 600 here.
Okay.
And then it would display the correct
Okay.
values. Okay, PT is your PT ratio. This is based on the line neutral voltage, so 600 volt line neutral. The maximum voltage we can have is 400 volts. Okay, so we always scale it based on that. So let's say you had a transformer from 600 volt to 120. That's the only time you'd use this function here. So normally it's set for 400 on that, and on the secondary it's also 400. That just means it's a direct input. Okay. Now I could put a different value than 400 there. I could put, say 120.
Okay.
Okay, so you could transform it from 600 down to 120, but on the display it's still going to show you 600 volt. Okay, so that's for that. In most cases you're going to just keep it at 400 and 400, unless you're using a potential transformer to step down the input voltage. And this one, it doesn't usually make any sense to do that, because usually the only time you do that if you got the meter in the front of the panel, and some people don't want to bring 600 volt to the front of the panel, so then they put a transformer there just so it's safer, I guess.
But this is rated for 600 volt.
The other ones are rated for 600 volt too, but some people don't like to bring 600 volt to the front of the panel, just in case somebody opens it up or in that. So in that case, they put a meter there, they put 3 potential transformers, transform it from 600 volt down to 120 volt, and then put that in the meter, and then they set the PT ratio on that.
Okay.
Okay. In this case, this is already on the DIN rail, so
Yeah.
you're not putting it on the front of your panel anyway, so it doesn't make any sense to put
Okay.
potential transformers into here. Okay, so again, if you don't use it for a while, it's going to kick you out, so then you just have to go back in again. Okay. Okay, CT, PT ratio. Let's just see what PN is. Again, if you're ever in doubt what the function is, you just put it, look into here, and you just see PN. Okay, so that's the pulse weight, like the number of pulses per kilowatt hour. So right now we have it set for 1
Just
pulse
the one,
per kilowatt hour. Okay, if you want better resolution, you could set it for 10, so that way you get 0.1 kilowatt hour resolution. But that's only going to be if you're sending this pulses into another type of system. Okay. So we actually have customers that buy this thing and they have their own system, but all it is like a counting system. It just takes counting pulses in. So they buy our meter and put the energy pulses into their system.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Every kilowatt.
Exactly.
Give one pulse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. pH. And again, I skipped over one. There's also one for pH, which is the pulse width, because sometimes systems, they can only take so quick a signal. They don't want it to be too small. So we can set it between 20 and 100 milliseconds. So every kilowatt hour, if you set it for 50, it would give you a 50 millisecond pulse. Okay. But generally in counters, you can set it for 20. It's not a big deal. Okay, so if you look at FN, okay, that's the resolution of your energy. So right now we have it set for 0, which is 1 kilowatt hour. And generally that's all you need. You don't need to know the resolution. But if you wanted 0.1 kilowatt hours or 0.01 or 0.0001, you could set it for that as well. It's just that it would take up more room on your display when you look at it.
Yeah.
When you start getting the people that have 200 amp systems, you don't really need to know the resolution to the 0.0001 kilowatt hour. So normally people keep that as 0, which means every kilowatt hour it accumulates. Okay, again, if you don't select something in a while, it kicks you out. Okay. So right now it's set for 20 millisecond pulse width, 1 kilowatt hour resolution. And this is a page filter, and what I'd recommend is you don't use this to enter this because it's very awkward to do. I recommend you use the software. This just tells you which variables you want to show on the display. Okay, so let's say you only want kilowatt hours, but you don't want it cycling between the voltage, the current, and the power factor and the kilowatt. So you can shut off these display pages. So it'll only show you the kilowatt hour on the front. If you want to see the voltage in that, you can select various from 1 to 25 in terms of how many variables you show.
Okay.
But it's very awkward to do it on here. It's much easier to do it via the software. And if you want to, again, remove a page, let's say you're showing the, because right now I have it set up to show the kilowatt hours and the voltage. Okay, now if you want to delete a page, again, you'd have to put the number in there and then delete the page. But again, it's very awkward doing it here. This is best done via the software. And CH is the wiring check. When you wire this up, generally it's a little awkward to use, to be honest. But you can set that on, and it'll tell you if you have a CT in backwards or not. Okay, so you either turn that on or you turn it off. And the next one is just it'll tell you, so if that's on, the next one will tell you the direction of the A input, which is your current input 1, whether it's 0 or 1, whether it's positive or negative. Okay, so again, if it's negative, that means it's reversed. Okay. And that's basically all of the parameters on that. So if you're going to use the wiring check thing, you turn it on, and it'll tell you which CT is backwards.
Okay.
Okay. When I'm doing jobs now, I don't bother with that because I can look at the kilowatt and I know exactly if the CT is backwards. If the kilowatt's negative, the CT is backward. Okay. So once you go into the field, he's got 3 of them up, and he says, "But the energy is not correct." You say, "Well, look at the kilowatt." You say, "Oh yeah, this one's 0." Or this one shows a negative value. That means the 2 leads on the CT, you just reverse them.
Yeah, the CT, you don't have color label?
They are, but some people there's still people that take voltage for line 1 and put the CT for line 1 on line 2 by mistake. So people do a lot of crazy things.
Okay.
So by looking at the values, if you get a crazy power factor like 0.3 or something like that, you know you got the CT from the voltage on the wrong line.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing to check is the kilowatt. If the kilowatt's negative, you know that CT is backwards.
Yes, okay.
That's the easiest way to do it. Yeah.
Normally they use color.
Yeah, they do, but people still do it backwards. That's why if you look at ours, we tell you which side's the high side of the CT,
Yeah.
and which side that corresponds to on the output.
Okay.
And but still, if they put the wire the wrong way through, it's still going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So you either reverse the direction of the wire or you reverse the CT direction, one or the other. Okay.
Okay.
So really, that's all there is. It's basically just a matter of following along on these 3 pages in there. And again, the only thing people are probably ever going to change is the Modbus address and the CT ratio and the system type.
Okay.
They probably won't change anything else in here. Okay.
These 2 wires just power up this machine.
That's the power of that machine up.
120.
Yep. This is 120. Yep. And I'm just jumping over to the monitor. So these are your voltage monitoring terminals.
Yeah.
Here's your CT's input. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
CT comes this
Yep,
way.
yep.
Exactly. Yep. So you just wire the CTs into there. This is your communication port, which is
Yeah.
RS485. And this you can get a relay output and a pulse output. Okay, so the relay, you could have that as an alarm, so you could say if the voltage is too high, generate an alarm.
Okay.
And that's just a dry contact. Okay? Okay, so if you look on the front of the page here, you can then scroll between each of these variables I asked it to show. So I said show the voltage, so it's going to show you.
好了，这期视频我们就讲到这里。如果你喜欢我的视频，或者觉得我讲的内容对你有用，请按红色订阅按钮，并按小铃铛。如果你有什么问题或者建议，请在下面留言，我会尽快答复。也许我们下期视频的主题会因你的问题而产生。谢谢大家。